So at the start for the final of the Stewards Challenge Cup, first time we've seen this being raced at the regatta. Straight final between Leander Club and Oxford Brookes University. British national 4. Camera just flying over them. Had a couple of crew changes, seat changes, crew changes. Since the Poznan Regatta where they finished 4th. But the Leander Club 4, again, 4 men from the British national squad on the comeback trail. And they are on the Berkshire stage where all the people are lined up. Intriguing matchup, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of rivalry here, isn't it? The crew on the left are, as you say, there's a classy comeback kids. Will Satch coming back from injury to his shoulder and wanting to have a good go at the currently selected floor on the right-hand side of the picture. So I expect them to really try and take the race to their opposition here.
Attention. Go.
Nice easy squeeze from both crews off their mat.
Yeah, the moment of stillness, the nerves there, and you just got to focus, 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 and get out of the blocks straight. These guys have got lots of experience in these Coxless 4s, and they are blasting away. And as you say, intensity from both of the crews, wanting to show in the left-hand boat that they've got the speed to compete with the current selected crew on the right. We're expecting both of these crews to race in Rotterdam at the next World Cup, I think. So this is really good practice for them.
Yeah, it's really good practice for them, and it's really important for the crew closest to you, the British crew that became European champions in Lucerne just over a month ago. And in Poznan, not so effective. They finished 4th. They were very slow out of the blocks. They were almost 2 or 3 seconds behind the leading crews at 500 metres. For them, getting out of the blocks quickly is paramount, Matthew, and they've done just that as we see them in the early stages.
Yeah, it's really good to see that. I think that's an important part of their work that they're developing all the time. And we look at the crew on the far side, Martin. Do you think they've got a bit of pace to give our guys this side a run for their money?
Well, the rumour was that these two crews did a piece in training at Caversham, and actually the crew on the far side, that's Sinclair, Satch, Neal and Johnson, actually beat their opponents.
Whoa, a little bit of a crab there on the far side. I don't know if you saw that, catching some of the bumpy water perhaps. They recovered quite well. It probably cost them a seat or two though, so it's a bit unusual to have that from such a high class crew. So I suspect they may have hit a bit of debris or a bit of a wave there, and that's just given the guys on this side, the British, for the chance to stretch out and capitalise on that. You can see as soon as you smell something like that, you really go for it against your opponent, and that's exactly what's happened here.
Well, he's such a racer, Sholto Carnegie, the 24-year-old at stroke of this British national team. 4 on the left-hand side, and the steering looks a little bit off that.
Let's see what happened. I think we're going to have a look back and see what happened with that mini crab there. Can we see? Yeah, just looking at the far boat in the far side of the picture there. Just clip, maybe even clip the booms, can't see. And whoa, that was nearly a devastating crab. And to recover from that when you're probably rating about 40 strokes a minute, that's pretty impressive. That you can see Sholto Carnegie on the near side spots that, and he puts the hammer down. And as we come towards the middle of the race, there we go. You can see it from the, yeah, it wasn't the booms actually. Look, a bit of a shipwreck.
I think that might have been the bellman, Alan Sinclair, 33-year-old, came 4th in the Rio pairs with Stuart Innes. Back on the comeback trail.
Well, look, they've recovered well, haven't they? Still struggling a bit with the steering. As they're steering towards the middle of the course here. That looks quite dangerous. Umpire Fiona Dennis standing, looking very closely, reaching for her flag, but actually course corrected again, and they're back on term. So that will cost them as well. So a rather expensive race for the comeback kids on the right of our picture.
So the back of Matt Roster, the 29-year-old. Great to see him back after that really bad back injury that kept him out of the sport for so long. And Ollie Cook wearing the purple of the University of London. You could just make him out from our boom camera in the 2-seat. Rory Gibbs from Brookes, the 25-year-old. He's going to be on a high after seeing what Brookes have done in the ladies in the Temple Challenge Cup wins. And then Sholto Carnegie, the 24-year-old from Yale, the racer. Really likes to grit his teeth and win from the front, and that's just what he's been doing, certainly in the European Championships. A little bit of a hiccup in Poznan, but they're back into winning ways now. Yeah, and
Cook and Rossiter, having rowed together since school days, got a lot of experience here. I think that helps to set you up, doesn't it? Helps to set up a boat like this, which requires balance and poise in order to be really athletic. And there's a lot of wattage going down there. Now look at that. Real determination, huge power as they kind of connect with the water and this lever, this shell, this beautiful yellow end packer shell past that point. shoveling it all the way down the course.
So with the final of the Stewards Challenge Cup, we're looking at the leaders from Leander and Oxford Brookes University, and they have a commanding lead over their teammates from Leander Club, the British four, with Will Satch on board, who's Olympic champion from the men's 8 in 2016, took a bronze medal in the pair with George Nash in 2012. Adam Neal and James Johnson from the four that took bronze last year, reunited in the stern combination, but you can see their fitness just isn't there, Matt.
Yeah, I think that's right. As we said, they're coming back from injury. It's quite a hard thing to do. They've had some seat racing, I think, since they were originally envisaged for this race. So shuffling the order around, but I think may have had a bit more of a problem than we think from that crab incident. I don't know whether that's affected their rhythm and their ability to kind of keep the boat straight. It certainly unsettled them, and you know, you can't afford to give your opponents anything at this level of racing. Adam
Neal looking round there just to see, you can probably see the puddles, but I don't think he could look round far enough to see the stern of the boat that is leading at the moment, with Roster, Cook, Gibbs and Carnegie. The drone showing them out there in front. What do you rank to that rowing there?
Well, it's pretty good, isn't it? Having just shuffled the order, I think the two guys together on the bow side there in the middle of the boat, looking really powerful and locked in. And I think, you know, it's perhaps not the smoothest of Cox's fours, but the power is certainly going on, and the pace is certainly showing after winning that European Championships result, and then a slightly disappointing fourth place in Poznan. I think this is an important race for them to get right. Certainly looks like, if this is any measure of the opposition they can face, that they're moved on a notch, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the Poles beat them in Poznan, and they beat the Poles to win the European title, the Polish four. So it really was a bit of a hiccup, I think, a couple of weeks ago in Poznan. So this is such an important race for them. I think really they want to keep working on their looseness. I just think maybe they could have a little bit more rotation around the front end, the British four, just on the right-hand side as they come up to finish. It's going to be an easy victory for them. Matt Ross still looks very smooth. I think they've kind of loosened out now as they come up to the finish line. They're relaxed a bit.
Exactly that, Martin. The last 300 or 400 metres, I think they've kind of relaxed, and you can see that they're rowing the boat much more smoothly. Still a bit of up and down movement, but average weight of 92 kilos, you're going to get a bit of that in a Cox's four. Coming past the enclosures, it's the Stewards Challenge Cup. It's the straight final in this event, so both crews racing for the first time here, and they'll be delighted with this result.
So at the finish, it's the crew from Oxford Brookes and Leander Club, national squad crew, the European champions, who win this Stewards Cup from their teammates, the crew from Leander Club, pretty comfortably after that crab didn't help the crew from Leander Club. There are the winners. Confirmation, Leander Club and Oxford Brookes beat Leander Club. So no ecstatic celebrations at that point, Matt.
No, it's another day at the office, I think, for the British four, really focused on the overall season and on the Worlds lying ahead of them, the next World Cup in Rotterdam. It's really important for them, I think, to fix some of the things they're looking to improve from that disappointing performance in Poznan, the pace through the middle of the race. And I think, you know, we saw them surge pretty impressively, capitalising on the shipwreck in the other boat, and that allowed them to pull away. And once they started to relax, actually the technique look rather smoother. They're getting a better return on every watt of power that they're putting down, and getting the boat to run a bit better. And then I think we saw something of the potential that's still to come this season. Absolutely, and their coach Christian Felkel will have a smile on his face as he's just coming in the umpire's launch ahead of us in the commentary box. Certainly that's a good result to take away to World Cup 3 in Rotterdam, and Olympic qualification to come later for this men's four.